I'm General Max Stitzer. The freedom and liberty that we enjoy as citizens of the United States of America is worth celebrating. Certainly, we owe a debt of gratitude to the generations of men and women who have served and sacrificed to make our way of life possible. Of equal importance are the teachers, historians, and patriots who have continued to teach the principles on which this great republic was founded, and those who labor to preserve our heritage and culture. Liberty Village stands as one of those resources and will continue to rise in its importance as a destination where important learning occurs as they foster a spirit of patriotism in visitors through principle-based educational experiences set within the immersive environment of historically inspired buildings. While visiting Liberty Village for the first time and exploring the impressive progress that is being made to present their mission and immersive experience that will only grow over time, I was able to share my perspective and story about my great love for these United States. I was blessed to be raised in a family and community, surrounded by heroes and patriots of their own respective generations. When the time came to declare my path in life, I chose service in the United States Air Force, inspired by a tradition begun generations before, and most recently and most dear to me, by my maternal grandfather, a member of the greatest generation and a veteran of World War II, who was an enlisted cargo plane mechanic and radio operator in the United States Army Air Forces, serving in the China-Burma-India Theater from 1943 to 1945. My grandpa was my hero and an example in life, and I wanted to serve like he did. At the age of 18, when I enlisted in the Air Force, I had little to offer besides a high school diploma and a desire to be part of something bigger than myself. At the time, the minimum required enlistment term was 6 years, an eternity for a teenager. As I completed basic training and initial technical training, my fear of dedicating a few years of my life evaporated, and I committed to serving as long as I would be allowed. In fact, by the time I retired, I ended up serving for 4 decades, giving this nation my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, and most of my 50s. Truly, it was an honor and an experience that I never could have designed for myself. And I'm so grateful for all the mentors, supervisors, commanders, and colleagues who led me, served alongside me, and provided me the most incredible opportunities you could ever imagine. During the time I served, we also continued to make and contribute to the ongoing history of our nation. The Vietnam veterans who were officers and leaders in my early days in service provided a foundation that affected my entire life and career. In time, my own generation helped bring the Cold War to a victorious end, and then we fought and served in Operation Desert Storm and the global war on terrorism in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. I'm especially grateful to have served in an era when the American public freely expressed their gratitude for the service and sacrifice of our armed forces. As a leader and commander, on occasion my troops would ask for my advice on how to respond when kind and generous Americans said, "Thank you for your service." I replied that they could respond like I did, saying, "You're welcome. You're worth it." I would explain that living and serving in this republic is a team sport where we all participate in a social contract as fellow citizens. Only a mere 1% of Americans are afforded the opportunity to serve in the military. The other 99% are the reason we serve, doing all the things that make America a nation worth defending. Though the words of the oath of enlistment and the oath of office that our military members take is centered around supporting and defending the Constitution and deterring and defeating the enemies of this nation, also implicit in that oath is the defense and support of all that we treasure and are blessed with. Our institutions, our natural resources, our economic system, and most important, our God-given natural rights and liberty. Yes, being American is a team sport, and I'm blessed and grateful beyond measure to have worn the varsity uniform of our United States Air Force and to have served and represented this great nation around the world. In honor of all who have served and sacrificed, it is imperative that we honor their legacy and all who created the conditions of peace, liberty, and freedom that we all continue to enjoy. The experience you and your family will have at Liberty Village will deepen your understanding of our nation's history, honor the men and women who sacrificed for our future, and inspire a greater appreciation for all that the United States represents.